So here's a question for you. Would you benefit from ongoing support to improve your sales conversations and ultimately close more business? The Sales Maven Society offers you daily support for your urgent sales questions, an extensive library of bite-sized trainings to hone your selling skills, and monthly live coaching calls where you receive individualized coaching from me specific to your business so that you're able to remove any bottlenecks in your sales process. This is the most robust sales coaching program around for an incredible value of only $147 a month. And you can join now for your first month for only $47. You get access to absolutely everything, including the live coaching calls with me. Come check it out and see if this is the place for you to really elevate your business to the next level. You can do this by going to yoursalesmaven.com/society, hit the join now button. And then when it takes you to that page, enter this code, the number 4, the number 7, and the word trial, TRIAL. So 47 trial, all one word, and you'll be a member. I can't wait to see you in there. Now, here's the podcast.
Do sales conversations make you feel awkward or pushy? It's time to ditch the outdated salesy strategies. Your guide, Nikki Roush, will show you how to combine kindness with selling skills to meet your prospects where they are, and in the process, how to up-level your influence and income. Learn how to earn business easily and effortlessly. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush. Today's episode is a part of the Mastering Excellence series. This is a concept that comes from my background in neurolinguistic programming, where we learn that there is a structure to excellence. Once you understand the structure of how somebody is getting exceptional results in some area of their life or business, you can then apply that same structure to your own life and business and experience similar results. Today's guest is Erin Marcus. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Erin. Erin Marcus is the founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business, an international company helping driven entrepreneurs and small business owners get the financial and emotional freedom they need to build a business and a life they're proud of. Having made the successful leap from corporate executive to entrepreneur, Erin uses that experience along with her MBA education and street smart upbringing to help her clients reach heights they've never dreamed possible and have fun doing it. Erin is also an international speaker and the host of Ready Yet podcast. Erin, welcome to the show, friend.
Thank you. I tell people all the time, I've had to put a lot of time, money, and energy and effort into just letting people do the formal introduction, right?
It's painful, isn't it?
Painful. Stage in front of 1,000 people, have the time of my life. Do not make me listen to you introduce me.
I know. I should read it off air because I feel the same when someone reads my bio. And I actually tell my team all the time, give them the shortest bio. Like, don't give them the full, because if I have to sit and listen to somebody read it, I want to crawl in a hole. So I get it. Well, tell the audience a little bit about you and a little bit more about your business, just so we can learn a little bit outside of what the bio is.
Yeah. Set the stage. So my business, Conquer Your Business, is all about teaching business owners how to cross the bridge from entrepreneur to small business owner. And entrepreneur used to mean like venture capitalist. Entrepreneur as itself now means more solopreneur a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right. So, however, if you really want to make money, if you really want to scale, you have to approach your business as a business and get over the bridge of becoming from that solopreneur situation. And the way that I describe what we do is we help people because you want that journey to be a nice little stone bridge over a creek in a garden, right? That would be fantastic. But the reality is it's the Indiana Jones Bridge. And it's being held together by planks and twine, right? It's probably on fire, and there's a guy with a sword at the other end. That's who we
I
help.
feel that at the deepest level.
Oh, right?
Yes.
Right? That's who we help. And to me, it's harder to get over that bridge than to launch a business, because most people launch a business to do the thing the business does. They love doing it. They're great at doing it.
Yep.
Becoming a business owner is a completely different animal. And what I know how to do is be a business owner because of my education, because my corporate experience, because I've had my own small business with 15 people, because I've been through that solopreneur, entrepreneur to now business owner journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole different level of change. So that's where we play. And we focus very much on business and branding strategies, not tactics, but actual strategies that can create those multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses that people dreamed of when they launched their business.
Yeah.
Because it is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know we're going to dig into the NLP questions, but before we do that, and the topic today, by the way, for everybody, I don't think I've ever said this yet. The topic that we're going to dig into is how to communicate with intent, because this is one of the things. Now, we've only known each other for a short time. We just met not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, really, right? And when we were kind of just having a casual conversation, this was one of the things that kind of came up about, like, a superpower of yours is this ability to really have intention behind your communication. And so I asked if you would come on and talk about this, because I truly believe that having strong communication skills will take you so much further in every area of your life and business than a lot of other skills. Like, it's such an important skill set to continue to refine and hone and have that ability to get your message across. I don't know. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. And I'm so excited about this, because this is something, to your point and how you approaching, this is something I've done naturally to some extent, probably my entire life. When I really look back at all the different experiences I've had, this idea of communicating with intent, I finally got a label on it. The label for it didn't come until I was getting my MBA. I think I was like 37, 38 years old. So I didn't have a label, a title, something to call it until my late 30s. And then looking back, I realized, well, I've been doing that all along. And I will absolutely tell you that skill it's cornerstone to my success. Now, I'm sure that's tied a bit to what I love doing, who I am, right? But it's been absolutely cornerstone, not just to my success in business, but to any successful relationship I have, to any other thing that I do in my life. And there's all sorts of things we learn in school. Well, if you went to school, I didn't bother going to high school because there's Chicago public schools in the 80s and I had other things to do. But once I did finally get into my interested in the education aspect, we learn all these things, and you hear of all these people that graduate colleges and university with degrees that they never do anything with. And I have an undergrad with journalism. Sure, I was a reporter when I was a kid and in school, but learning communication as a skill, regardless of whether I became a journalist, has been massively influential in my success.
Yeah.
Because of exactly what you said.
Yeah. I mean, I originally started studying neurolinguistic programming and really diving deep into it because I was very interested in how to be better at sales. That was my whole intention behind starting it. And what I found, after 2 years and becoming master certified, is that it completely changed the way that I communicate. And so because it changed the way I communicate, it improved a lot of really important relationships in my life. And those skills have just continued to build on each other. And not that I consider myself a master communicator. I feel like I have mastered certain areas of communication, and I am a lifelong learner when it comes to how to say things in a way that can land to the other person in a soft way, get the point across, keep the relationship intact and keep us moving in a direction to be strategic.
Well, and one of the things you're alluding to that's so, so true is being articulate is a teeny fraction of being a good communicator.
Amen. Yes.
Right? Like having a vocabulary.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I talk like an 80s kid from the streets of Chicago. Like there's a lot of, it's very sweary, right? It's very sweary.
Me too.
It's very, but when I go to write, I'm much more grammatically correct. But knowing the 7-syllable words, yes, in my job, in my business, being able to come up with the words that represent people's brands so that we're putting their unique value proposition together. Yes, that's 100% a skill, but communicating with intent, the vocabulary is just a piece.
Yeah. Okay, let's start digging into the questions here.
Very excited.
I'm super excited.
Can't wait to figure this out.
Why am
I like this? Why am I like this?
We'll see what comes out of it in the end.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll learn something about yourself, and hopefully the listeners will also learn some key skills to improve our communication skills. All right. So my first question is always, if I was going to stand in for you for a day, so lucky me, I get to be Erin for the day. What is something I have to do and or think to approach a conversation by communicating with intent?
You're going to stand in for me for a day. And going back into what I do.
Yeah.
It's clarity and confidence. I don't think you can communicate with intent if you don't know what the heck is going on, what you want. Right? Like you can't communicate with intent if you don't know what you want.
Right.
Or what you're trying to accomplish. What's the outcome, right? And then the confident piece, I'm thinking you have to have the confidence because it is what prevents you. And by confidence, I don't mean false confidence. I don't mean arrogance. I mean the solid foundation of you, right? Are you solid in you so that you're not susceptible or swayed by external things that shouldn't impact what's going on? There's all sorts of external things that should impact what you're doing. But if you're not confident, meaning strong foundation, then it leads to bad decisions. It leads to all sorts of the things that are going to derail you. So how could you possibly communicate with intent if, number one, you don't know what you want, and number two, you're not strong enough to just be you?
And what does that feel like, being confident, being solid in your foundation to being you?
What does it feel like? For me, it feels easy, but that's hard fought, right? I'm not going to tell you that it happened overnight. How does it feel like? Susceptible is what keeps coming to mind. Like, I don't feel, this is going to get real unpopular real fast. It's a lack of victimhood. Like, it's coming from a place of strength, meaning I'm not worried. I'm not worried because I know it's fixable. I'm not worried because I know I can handle it. I'm not worried because I know it'll work out. I'm not worried because if I upset you, then you probably didn't like me anyway, or did, right? Like, it's a lack. The feeling is more of a lack of something. It's a lack of anxiety. It's a lack of fear. It's not necessarily a aggressive feeling. It's just a lack of weaker feelings.
So if I can comment on this, it makes me think of I don't know if you've heard this, I think it's a Buddha thing. The root of all suffering is attachment. It's almost like there's a lack of attachment.
There's a lack of attachment.
I love that.
There's a lack of attachment because one of the things I know, for better or for the worse, There's almost nothing in this world that has to do with me.
Wow. I say this all the time from a sales perspective of interacting with your client is to remember that most people walk around thinking the whole world revolves around them. Everything that happens is happening to me or for me or against me.
And they should, but that doesn't mean, right? Like
Yeah.
what's happening to, for, and against, or however for you
Yeah.
is different than me, even if we're in the same conversation. I think the other thing is the absolute awareness and belief. Like it's not just even awareness, but an absolute belief that you get to be you and I get to be me. And neither of those things are harmful to each other, no matter what version they are, outside of abuse. We're not talking about the extremes here. We're talking about human beings. You get to be you. You get to like what you like. You get to do what you want to do. You get to have what you want to have. Now, that's with zero entitlement. That's where the strength comes from. Right? That's where the confidence comes from. I have zero entitlement, but I also expect to get everything I want because I'm going to go make it happen. Like the rules don't apply to me, but not in an icky, arrogant way. I'm just going to make sure I'm okay. And I'm going to make sure I do the thing in the personal responsibility way.
Yeah.
And that, going back to the communicating with intent, is having these feelings is what prevents me being derailed.
So do you have any type of thing that you do, that you say to yourself before you go into a conversation that strengthens your connection to your that foundation?
Well, so there's like the easy version and then the deeper version. The real easy version came to me by accident once because I would talk to my dog. Literally. It came out of my mouth talking to my dog as I was walking out of, like, I don't know if you say bye to your dog and reassure them that you're going to come back and please don't let any hippos in the house while I'm gone. But that's my process. She's got 100% track record on that.
That's awesome.
There's been zero hippos in the house.
Good job, dog.
Good job, dog. But one day as I was walking out, I literally said to the dog, I'll be back, blah, 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 blah. Don't let any hippos in the house. I've got to go help some people today. I have no idea why I said it that way. I literally was booked with sales consultations all day. And so now my default is, how can I help, right? How can I make this better? How can I improve this situation? What has to happen? Not necessarily what can I get out of it?
Yeah.
Because that'll all come, right? When the water goes up, all boats rise.
Yep.
How can I help this situation? How can I be of service? And then the deeper version, when like things are going off the rails, or when the bigger process, when I want something, or if I'm having a moment and I'm having a hard time and I want an outcome, this doesn't work for me for like big years from now outcomes, but like 90-day outcomes, today outcomes. I have an exercise that I do with journaling, and it starts with the clarity. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And it works with family too, because I was in a situation where I had to go to a birthday party during a time when I was very, very overstressed and overwhelmed and physically ill. And there were people at the birthday party who annoy me, and I have a big mouth, so I'm going to say something, but that wouldn't have helped the situation at all. So I literally wrote down, what do I want? And I wanted my stepdad to have a good time. That's what I really wanted. Well, what I wanted was for this group of people to not be a bunch of jerks. Right. Well, I can't do anything about that.
Right.
There's nothing I could do about that. So what I really wanted was my stepdad to have a good time at his 90th birthday party. So great. Okay, if that's what I really want. So get clarity on what you really want that's actually within your control. And then the 3 questions. What do I have to do? Who do I have to be? And what do I have to believe in order to make that happen? So the thing that I've learned about communicating with intent as I've gotten older is that the key is that it's intentional.
Right. So what do I have to do? Who do I have to be? And what do I have to believe? I
in order
love
to
that.
get the thing that I want.
In order to, yeah.
The outcome, like, it's not always a thing. In
Right,
order
right,
to get
right.
the outcome.
In order to get your outcome. I love that. That was a little masterclass right there for all of us. Those 3 questions,
And
so
by the way,
important.
feel free to do that same exact exercise on the same exact outcome day after day. Like these aren't one and done situations.
Yeah.
I can write the same thing out several days in a row until I feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, next question. What are your goals when it comes to communicating with intent?
My goals are always to get better at it. My goal with communication is to who do I have to be and what do I have to do
Mm-hmm.
and what do I have to believe to keep myself out of reaction mode. I think reaction mode is dangerous. Knee-jerk reaction mode is seldom helpful. It seldom moves us closer. There's a big difference between like a responding and reacting.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goals when I think about communicating with intent is to continue to do what I need to do to prevent the opposite of communicating with intent.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So the goal is to get better at it. And then asking yourself the 3 questions: what do I have to do? Who do I have to be? What do I have to believe? And then this idea of really having some intention around am I responding or am I reacting? Are you a determined and ambitious woman entrepreneur seeking to elevate your selling skills? Then I have a training for you. It's called How Any Woman Can Confidently Close Any Deal in a One-on-One Sales Call in Any Business or Industry. In this training, you'll be shown 3 techniques that you can immediately apply to your consultation calls and improve your close rate. This is a live training with me, and there's going to be an opportunity to ask questions. So come get yourself registered right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/close. Easy, right? Okay, I'm going to see you there.
A lot of people react to a situation and say something that will actually produce the counter result than what they actually want.
Yes.
Because they're reacting in the moment, right? If we go back to why you have a brain, your brain has one job, it's to keep you alive.
Yeah.
So if my brain's job is to identify threats, and we've got all the subconscious programming of our crazy ass childhood going on, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say all sorts of stuff, right? There's a good chance of me saying all sorts of stuff in a moment that is fear-based, that is scarcity-based, that, because we're human and humans are extremely messy. And you might not feel good one day, or you might be busy one day. There's so many easy, and completely reasonable. Like, I have all the empathy in the world for people going through this process, right? Like, like so many reasonably, no one would get mad at me. No one would disagree with me reacting and go flying off the handle or overreacting. Like, people be like, oh yeah, I get it. Okay, but that doesn't mean that was helpful.
Yeah, or that it's leading you down this idea of communicating with intent.
Right. Like I'll give you a specific example in business. So we had an event last Thursday. It was amazing. My team is absolutely amazing. And it has come to light since Thursday, between Thursday and today is Tuesday. In just a few days, I've been able to identify a whole bunch of teeny tiny, like, we didn't do this as good as we could have. We didn't do this as good as we could have. Now I have amazing people on my team. If I were to react, because I wanted the result. I wanted the sales that come from having that event. If I was so attached to that, and then I saw, because I was included in some of the problems and mistakes that were made, I was just as, I contributed to them just as much as anybody else. I could very easily have snapped at them. I could have gone a downward spiral about me. Like, there's a million ways, a million different, very unproductive results that could happen if I was in reaction mode. But I've got a whole lot of clarity around what it is I actually want. Business is a long game.
Yeah.
Right? I have an amazing team. Why would I derail them by pissing them off over stupid stuff?
Yeah.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Why do I want to put myself on a downward spiral of making myself wrong? Because we all know nothing can be created when you feel that way about yourself.
Right. I do think there is something to be said about reaching a certain, and this has nothing to do with age. This has to do with, I think, awareness of a level of maturity where you can look at a situation that, again, anybody in that situation wouldn't fault you for being reactionary. But when you can look at it and go, yeah, I could blow my top, or I could say something that was snarky or whatever. And instead, I'm going to respond with the idea of my clarity that I have on wanting my outcome. And because I'm going to respond from that way, it's going to keep us moving in the direction of the outcome, and it isn't going to derail.
Exactly. So when we had our debrief meeting, one thing I learned in
leadership
training was don't serve a poop sandwich. We say it differently.
Yeah, I know what you're. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Don't serve a poop sandwich, meaning, compliment a poop and a compliment.
Yes.
Like, you're not fooling anyone.
Right. We're all privy to that.
We all get it.
Yeah.
But when we had our debrief meeting, the first thing I did was go over everything that went well. And the second thing I did was go over everything I did wrong. And then I talked about what other things the team might have done that could have been done better. But instead of complaining about what went wrong, I already had taken the time to say, okay, so this happened, but here's how we fix it. So it's not actually a problem anymore. Here's this. So, okay, we made this mistake. So that wasn't good at all. But here's how we fixed it. So guess what? We're doing this again in January. It won't be a problem anymore. It's already solved.
Yeah.
It's already solved.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of intent around how I structured that meeting, the tone of my voice, the personal responsibility for my role in, right? The willingness to illustrate that we're all in this together. I'm not above them, right? Here's how I'm fixing my goofs, and here's how you can fix your goofs, and here's how we didn't know that was a goof. So guess what? New information. Great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I love that so much. Okay. My next question for you now. So we've talked about the goals around communicating with intent. How do you know that you're achieving the goals? What's the evidence for you?
The evidence for me is, am I moving closer to the thing that I said that I wanted? Like, maybe this is a big assumptive gap on my part, but to me, communicating with intent is a very integral key piece of being able to reach the outcome. So if I'm moving towards the outcome, again, I'm going to make an assumption that I'm doing it at least somewhat right.
So how do you know that you're actually moving towards the goal? Like, what do you do in a situation to go, I am actually moving towards the goal?
Are we making less mistakes? Are we doing a better job at, like, with using, to continue on the example that, continue on the team example, are we getting better each time that we're doing this? Is it running more smoothly? Are our results better, right? There's external data, more participation, and for fun, to reinforce for ourselves, as is necessary, that we are moving forward.
Yeah.
We will often kind of nostalgically look back when we started a certain process going, oh my God, remember how hard that was, right? What used to take a week, then took a day, now takes an hour. And now we don't even think about it. We do it automatically, right? So we kind of have a little bit of a nostalgic debrief to show ourselves, and we track all this stuff. We track all of our results and all of the activities that went into it. And we can see that, wow, on this event, we had 3 times amount activity, and we did it in half the time compared to when we started something like this a year ago.
Right. I love it. Okay. My next question for you is, how do you know that it's time to pay attention to your communication with intent?
Oh, so that's the internal feeling.
Okay.
It's the clench. I know who I am and my normal mode. If I get an anxious feeling, this just happened today. I was starting to get triggered. I started to feel myself physically. For me, it is easier to catch a physical feeling than a thought, right? Your brain will run away with you so fast, but I can identify how I feel. And so I was getting the anxious feeling in my chest. I was getting the physical manifestation of being annoyed. We all know how this feels. It's a clench. We all clench. We understand. There's no happy, joy, inspirational feeling that's a clench, right? These are diametrically opposed to each other, right? We know. So whenever I'm getting a physical manifestation, fear, anxiety, you're wrong, you suck, scarcity, you name it, stop.
Okay.
Stop. What is going on? Because that's not an inspiring feeling. That's not a move forward feeling. That's not an outcome-based goal for gold feeling, right? That's we're doomed, we're all going to die feeling.
Yeah.
So just this morning, I had that. And I literally just went, okay, stop. So that it doesn't run away with me. How fast can I catch it? Because I also believe that it's back to the dog. It's not about it never happening. It's about catching it faster and faster and faster. So when I got the dog, she was found out on the street. She's got next level stranger danger, right? Next level stranger danger. And it used to be when I would walk her and she saw something that scared her, she'd have an absolute meltdown. And then the next time we went for a walk, she started at that same absolute meltdown level. She didn't recover. And as we worked on it, she would recover. She would see something that scared her and then she'd shake it off and she was back to okay. So she is who she is. She's never not going to have some level of stranger danger. I'm human. I'm not perfect. Right. I'm never going to be kumbaya, free of, anxiety, fear, the whole, gambit. So the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to catch it faster.
Yes.
Right. So this morning we caught it pretty quickly because I started out this morning great. And I got a couple things happened and I got annoyed. And I'm like, okay, this is getting to the derailing portion of annoying.
Yeah.
And so I did. I'm like, okay, what do I really need? Going back to my questions, what do I want?
Yeah.
What do I actually need to do? And I already decided, and you get better at this, right? I didn't used to be this good at it, but I get better at this, right? What do I actually want? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I need to slow down to speed up, go back to the basics, slow down and speed up, go back to the basics. And the other thing that I'm really, really big on in the business, because we're using that as the example, is who can help me? What do I need? Who can help me? And so there's some things on my calendar that I am not doing a good job of. I'm not doing a good job. This is not my strength. You know who's really great at my calendar? Allison, my assistant. So why am I banging my head against the wall to do a really bad job at something she's so good at? So I wrote down the 3 calendar blocks that I need to have added to the calendar. And I don't care when they happen. I'm just going to give them to her. And let her figure out when it should happen.
Yeah. I love so much of what you're saying. And I feel like it's so in sync with some of the stuff that I've got going on in my own life and business.
Reason we got along so well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I was having this conversation with myself yesterday on my walk.
Hey, self.
Right. And I was thinking about something that I was very triggered by, right? But I don't want to be triggered by it. But I also had heard this podcast earlier, and it was talking about that it's about creating discipline. And that some of these things, they don't come natural. They're not human nature. It's not human nature for us to be in a situation and immediately let go of judgment. Like, it takes practice. It's a discipline. It's not the go-to. And so I think about what you were saying about reacting versus responding. I also think there's a discipline to that as well. And like you're saying, catch it faster. That comes with discipline, I think.
I absolutely agree with you, because for me, I'm going to back it up one step before that. What do you want and how bad do you want it?
Yes.
And because the discipline won't come if you don't want the outcome bad enough.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm a big fan of getting really black and white in order to figure things out. Most of my world is shades of gray. But one of the exercises I do is I'm like, okay, well, what's my priority? Is my priority, because that's really what it is my priority to grow this business, to reach the levels I want it to reach, to do the things that I wanted to do, to create the vision? Or is my priority to blame so-and-so for such and such? And right, it's a priority. Do I want to be safe in my victimhood? Do I want blaming everyone else so that I don't have to take responsibility? Do I want to stay safe and play small? Like, what's the priority?
Yeah. I love this. I love that you're commenting on this. It ultimately, I think, comes down to what are the nice to haves and what are the absolutes. I'll do anything to make this work, to make this, to accomplish this goal.
And you see this with business owners and whose spouses don't support them. And this is a terrible situation. So I'm just very lucky not to be in that situation.
Yeah,
do you want your business or do you want to make your spouse happy? Sometimes you got to pick.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of times the two things we have to pick from, it's not a fun thing to have to pick from.
Right. Yeah.
Do I want to... One of the things that I heard when I launched my business that was really helpful for me, because I come out of corporate where I had all the money.
Yeah, same.
And I took all the vacations and I bought all the clothes and I did all the things.
And I remember those days.
For some reason, I thought it would be great to not have all the money.
Who needs all that money when you already have all the money and then you don't have it anymore? What the heck?
What the heck was that all about?
I get it.
Because there's a transition period. But, right? So what do you want? How bad do you want it? Do I want the shopping and the, go explain to your mother that you're giving up the multiple 6-figure income because I want to go try this thing over here?
Yeah.
What's your priority?
Yeah. I remember those conversations. People are like, how could you leave your corporate? How could you leave your corporate job?
No matter how great the business is doing, she doesn't understand the business.
Yeah,
it's totally fine. So she understands getting a paycheck because she
that's I'm
like,
getting a paycheck.
Ma, here, I get a W-2. It's just my name on both boxes. Okay,
right. Same.
My name's
same
in both boxes.
I so understand that. All right. We're going to start to wrap up. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful for all that you shared. I always like to do a little something extra so the audience can hear a little bit more from you on a personal level. So my first question is for you is what's something that brings you pleasure and or joy?
Okay. I'm definitely an 80s child, so I really overestimated the role that quicksand was going to play in my life.
Oh my gosh. I can so relate to
Right.
that.
And really underestimated the importance of being able to identify 36 types of birds by sound or sight or behavior. I am so those memes. I'm so those memes. So I am very much, we moved into, last year we bought our house on an 1.5 acre wooded lot. And so there's a pond. So I'm very into the birds. I've got a pollinator garden started. I had a huge excursion last week to a brand new plant store. It's very exciting. This has become my world right now. And I very much enjoy it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. All right. What's something exciting going on in your business right now?
In my business, I'm really excited about this because it took all year to figure this out. We did a whole relaunch, rebrand based on what we saw going on in the marketplace to stay ahead, to stay relevant, to really do a next level service for the people we want to serve. And so what we have is new programs that are so dialed in with very specific outcomes that I'm massively excited about them. And the next idea percolating in the background that'll launch next year. The working title is called the Power Brand Mastermind.
I love it. I love it. This all fits with the conquer your business.
Conquer business.
Conquer that business. I love it. Okay. For people listening, what is the best way for people to connect with you?
Awesome. We make this really easy. It is all at conqueryourbusiness.com. So if you just go to conqueryourbusiness.com, you see what we have going on. You can get a hold of me. You can get our social. You can get the podcast. One place. I promise we're not hiding, but you can get absolutely everything you need right there on the website.
And I know that I will be on your podcast soon. I don't know when the podcast is going to air, but that's coming. So please go check that out. Please reach out to Erin and connect with her. She's a wealth of information. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I feel like I got some really super impactful and yet simple things to think about in this idea of communicating with intent today. So I'm very grateful to you for being here.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. Loved it.
Awesome. Okay. For you, the listener, thank you so much for being here and listening. If you know somebody who would benefit from this episode, please share it with a friend. And we'll talk soon. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.
Are you ready to increase your confidence in your sales conversations? I have a gift for you that is going to show you exactly how to do that. It is my Closing the Sale ebook. It's all about leveling up your confidence, giving you language to use, how to seamlessly move somebody through the sales process. And you can get it right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/Maven. Go grab it.